Imagine standing at the edge of chaos, where every impulse screams to be unleashed. A harsh word, a rash reaction, a storm of anger ready to break your peace and shatter your relationships. Yet true strength isn't about succumbing to those fiery urges. It's about mastering the silence within, commanding your expressions and emotions with cold logic and graceful precision. This video dives deep into the heart of Stoicism, revealing how emotional control isn't just a skill, but an essential fortress for your mind and soul, capable of saving you from destruction and elevating you above life's relentless turmoil. You'll uncover why the fiercest battles are not fought with brute force, but with calm resolve, where patience transforms impulsive reactions into wise decisions, and silence often speaks louder than any outburst. We'll explore the subtle art of reining in anger, recognizing the poison pride injects into our judgment, and learning when to pause, observe, and act with measured intention, rather than uncontrolled passion. This isn't about wearing a mask of calm. It's about cultivating an unshakable inner sanctuary that withstands every provocation and temptation to stray from your values. By the end, you'll see how embodying these 10 essential Stoic rules empowers you to live anchored in grace and clarity, unshaken by external storms, rooted in purpose and true emotional sovereignty. Prepare to transform your reactions, your life, and ultimately, the way you define real strength. Master 10 Stoic rules to act with cold logic and grace. 1. Master your facial expressions. Control what your face reveals. 2. Embrace silence, the power of saying nothing. 3. Outsmart impulses. Use time to temper reactions. 4. Disarm anger. Understand its true weakness. 5. Resist provocation, the strength in not reacting. 6. Humble your pride. Avoid decisions fueled by ego. 7. Observe before acting, the art of mindful pause. 8. Defy external pressure. Keep your inner calm intact. 9. Cultivate emotional discipline. Calm is survival. 10. Stay true to your principles. Anchor yourself in purpose. If this is making sense to you so far, if these ideas resonate with that deep sense of order and strength you seek, please take a moment to like this video and share it with someone who needs to hear this message. It helps us reach more minds yearning for clarity in a chaotic world. Now let's continue our exploration into the profound wisdom of Stoicism, uncovering the essential rules that empower you to navigate life with an unshakable inner calm, transforming impulsive reactions into deliberate, graceful actions. 1. Master your facial expressions. Control what your face reveals. Your face is an open book, often telling a story you'd rather keep private. It's the frontier of your emotional landscape, and mastering it isn't about deception, but about cultivating a consistent inner state that is less susceptible to external provocations. Stoicism teaches us that our inner world and outer demeanor are intertwined. A furrowed brow, a tense jaw, a fleeting flicker of irritation. These micro-expressions are not just indicators of your feelings, they can also reinforce them. When your face overtly displays frustration, it often feeds that frustration, locking you into an emotional loop. Think about it. How many times has an argument escalated, not because of the words spoken, but because of the disdain etched on one person's face? Or a negotiation derailed by an involuntary sneer? In the modern world, where interactions are increasingly scrutinized, controlling your facial expressions is a powerful tool for maintaining composure and projecting confidence. It's a shield against those who would seek to exploit your vulnerabilities, and a beacon for those who value steadiness. This mastery begins with self-awareness. Start by observing yourself. In moments of stress, anger, or even joy, pay attention to the muscles in your face. Are you clenching your jaw without realizing it? Is your forehead tight? Practicing this observation allows you to create a small but crucial gap between feeling an emotion and outwardly expressing it. With practice, you learn to relax those muscles, to soften your gaze, to cultivate an expression of calm neutrality. This isn't about being unfeeling. It's about being in command. It's about ensuring that your face communicates intent, not just instinct. A calm face can disarm an aggressor, reassure an anxious colleague, and most importantly, reinforce your own sense of inner peace. It signals to both yourself and the world that you are the master of your domain, even when the storms rage. In a world full of expressive chaos, a steady, controlled countenance is a rare and powerful statement of true sovereignty. Embrace silence, the power of saying nothing. In an age saturated with noise, where every opinion is shouted and every moment is filled, silence has become a revolutionary act. For the Stoics, silence was not merely the absence of sound, but a powerful, deliberate choice. It is the fertile ground from which wisdom grows, the pause that allows for reflection before reaction. We are often conditioned to believe that we must always have an answer, that a gap in conversation must be filled, that our thoughts must be immediately broadcast. But true power often resides in the quiet observation, the thoughtful pause, the decision to say nothing at all. Consider the common scenario of a heated discussion. When emotions run high, our instinct is often to retort, to defend, to justify. Yet, how often does this lead to regret? How many words, once uttered in haste, can never be unsaid? Embracing silence in such moments provides an invaluable buffer. It allows the initial wave of emotion to subside, giving reason a chance to reassert itself. It offers space to truly listen, not just to formulate your next argument. It grants you the strategic advantage of absorbing information, assessing the situation, and then, if necessary, responding with precision and purpose, rather than impulsivity. Furthermore, silence is a profound tool for self-mastery. It cultivates introspection. When you choose to be silent, you create an internal space for your own thoughts to be heard, free from external clamor. This inner quiet is essential for understanding your own motivations, processing your experiences, and reinforcing your principles. In your daily life, practice deliberate moments of silence. Before responding to an email, take a breath. Before interjecting in a conversation, observe. Before reacting to a challenging situation, pause. You'll find that silence isn't emptiness. It's a reservoir of strength. It grants you control over your words, ensures they carry weight when spoken, and most importantly, preserves the tranquility of your mind, safeguarding it from the constant assault of unexamined external noise. The silent mind is often the strongest mind. Outsmart impulses. Use time to temper reactions. The gap between stimulus and response is where our freedom lies. This profound insight, often attributed to Viktor Frankl, but deeply embedded in Stoic philosophy, is the core of outsmarting impulses. Our modern lives are a relentless barrage of stimuli. Urgent notifications, demanding colleagues, unexpected news, constant digital input. Each of these can trigger an immediate, often unexamined impulse to reply instantly, to react defensively, to chase fleeting desires. The Stoic understands that succumbing to these knee-jerk reactions is to surrender control of your inner citadel. To outsmart an impulse is to deliberately insert time into this gap. It's to press the pause button before you speak, before you act, before you send that message you might later regret. This isn't about suppressing your feelings, but about giving reason a chance to evaluate them. When an impulse arises, be it anger, craving, fear, or an urge to lash out, acknowledge it, but do not immediately obey it. Imagine you are observing this impulse, not possessed by it. Ask yourself, is this reaction aligned with my principles? Will this action bring me closer to the person I aspire to be or further away? Practical application of this rule is simple yet powerful. Implement a 10-second rule before responding to anything charged. Before sending an angry email, draft it, then save it and revisit it an hour later or even the next day. Before reacting to a critical comment, take a few deep breaths. Before making a significant purchase, sleep on it. This deliberate delay allows the initial emotional surge to dissipate, letting cold logic and graceful precision step in. It allows you to analyze the long-term consequences of your actions, rather than being swept away by short-term urges. By consistently choosing to delay gratification and immediate reaction, you train your mind to be less reactive and more proactive, less a slave to impulse, and more a master of considered choice. This simple act of buying time is your most potent weapon against the tyranny of unexamined urges, securing your peace and integrity. Chapter 4. Disarm anger. Understand its true weakness. Anger is often mistaken for strength. We see it in fiery speeches, in dominant figures, in forceful declarations. But the Stoics knew better. Anger is a temporary madness, a fever of the mind that blinds reason and leads to regret. Seneca, in particular, dedicated extensive writings to the destructive nature of anger, likening it to a wild beast that, once unleashed, turns on its master. Its true weakness lies in its irrationality. It strips us of our capacity for logical thought, replacing it with a burning desire for retribution or control that rarely achieves its intended purpose, and almost always damages the one who wields it. To disarm anger, you must first understand its anatomy. It begins with a spark, often fueled by a perceived injustice, a frustrated desire, or an insult. This spark then ignites a physiological response, heart racing, muscles tensing, a rush of adrenaline. In this state, our judgment is severely impaired. We become prone to exaggeration, misinterpretation, and impulsive actions that inflict far more damage than the initial provocation. The weakness of anger is that it always leaves us vulnerable. Vulnerable to making mistakes, vulnerable to hurting those we care about, vulnerable to damaging our own reputation and peace of mind. Disarming anger is a deliberate practice. When you feel that familiar heat rising, that tightening in your chest, immediately engage your rational mind. Ask yourself, what is truly happening here? Is this situation as dire as my anger suggests? What good will come from succumbing to this emotion? Take a physical step back, if possible. Breathe deeply. Focus on the sensation of your breath. Remind yourself that anger gives power to the very things that upset you. It turns external events, which are not in your control, into internal turmoil, which you can control. Recognize that a calm response, a measured silence, or a compassionate understanding will always be more effective and preserve your inner peace far better than any outburst. By understanding anger's inherent flaw, its inability to lead to genuine solutions or lasting satisfaction, you gain the strategic advantage to step away from its destructive embrace and choose a path guided by reason and tranquility. Resist provocation, the strength in not reacting. In a world clamoring for your attention, eager to elicit a reaction, the strength in not reacting is a formidable, almost defiant act of sovereignty. Provocation, whether intentional or not, is a test of your inner fortress. It comes in many forms: a snide remark from a colleague, an inflammatory comment online, a careless slight from a loved one. The natural human instinct is to defend, to retaliate, to prove oneself. The Stoic understands that to react impulsively to provocation is to hand over the reins of your emotional state to another. It is to let an external event or person dictate your inner peace, a cardinal sin in Stoic philosophy. Epictetus famously taught that it is not events that disturb people, but their view of them. This applies profoundly to provocation. The insult itself, the unfair criticism, the dismissive gesture, these are external events. They have no inherent power to disturb you, unless you grant them that power by choosing to react emotionally. To resist provocation is to understand that your peace is inviolable unless you choose to breach its walls. It is a declaration of your unwavering commitment to your own tranquility and principles. How do we cultivate this strength? It begins with internal detachment. When faced with a provocative situation, practice viewing it from a distance, as if observing a scene unfold. Ask, is this truly within my control? Can I change the other person's behavior or words? No. Can I control my response? Absolutely. Instead of rising to the bait, consciously choose a non-response. Sometimes this means a calm, neutral silence. Sometimes it means a simple acknowledgement without engagement. Sometimes it means walking away. The key is to deny the provocateur the satisfaction of seeing their action affect you. Your calm, measured demeanor becomes the most powerful counter-response. It signals an unshakable inner resolve, a mind anchored in its own values, incapable of being swayed by the transient foolishness of others. In this resistance, you not only preserve your own serenity, but also demonstrate a profound strength that far surpasses any volatile reaction. 6. Humble your pride, avoid decisions fueled by ego. Pride in its most destructive form is a formidable enemy of wisdom and rational decision-making. It is the ego's whisper that tells you you are always right, that you know best, that admitting error is a sign of weakness. For the Stoics, this kind of hubris was a dangerous poison that clouds judgment, isolates individuals, and prevents growth. Humble your pride is not about self-abasement, but about recognizing the limits of your knowledge, the potential for error in your judgment, and the immense value of an open, teachable mind. Consider how often pride leads to irrational choices in modern life. A business leader might cling to a failing strategy because admitting a mistake would wound their ego. An individual might refuse to apologize to a loved one, letting a relationship fray, simply because their pride prevents them from acknowledging their part in the conflict. In a debate, someone might double down on a flawed argument rather than concede a point, prioritizing being right over seeking truth. These decisions, fueled by ego, invariably lead to suboptimal outcomes, missed opportunities, and fractured connections. To humble your pride is to cultivate intellectual humility. It means actively seeking out dissenting opinions, welcoming constructive criticism, and being willing to reevaluate your beliefs in the face of new evidence. It involves the courage to say, "I don't know," or "I was wrong." This isn't weakness. It is the ultimate strength of a mind committed to truth and growth. Practice self-reflection. After making a decision, consider if pride played an undue role. Are you defending a position simply because it's yours? Are you avoiding a necessary conversation because it might expose a flaw? By consciously stepping back from the demands of the ego, you create space for objective analysis, for learning, and for making decisions that are truly aligned with your long-term well-being and virtues, rather than fleeting self-importance. Humbled pride is the gateway to genuine wisdom and effective action, allowing you to build bridges instead of walls. Observe before acting, the art of mindful pause. In our fast-paced world, the pressure to act immediately, to have an instant solution, is immense. Yet, the Stoic path champions the art of observation before action, a mindful pause that distinguishes the wise from the rash. This isn't about procrastination, but about deliberation. It's about gathering information, understanding the full context, and allowing your rational faculties to process before you commit to a course of action. This deliberate observation prevents hasty decisions, mitigates potential errors, and ensures your actions are purposeful and effective. Think of a chess master, not simply reacting to their opponent's move, but observing the entire board, considering multiple future possibilities, and calculating the optimal next step. Similarly, in life, we are often too quick to move our pieces without fully appreciating the chessboard. When a new challenge arises at work, our first impulse might be to jump into problem-solving mode without fully understanding the root cause. In a personal conflict, we might respond to an initial statement without truly hearing the underlying emotion or context. This blind action often leads to unintended consequences and wasted effort. Cultivating the art of mindful pause involves several steps. First, when faced with a situation requiring a response, consciously resist the urge to act immediately. Take a moment, even a few seconds, to breathe and center yourself. Second, become a meticulous observer. What are the facts? What are the underlying dynamics? What is truly within your control? What are the potential short-term and long-term ramifications of various actions? Consider different perspectives. Third, allow time for clarity. Often, a solution that seems elusive in a moment of haste becomes clear after a period of calm contemplation. This practice trains your mind to be a careful strategist rather than a mere reactor. By committing to observe before acting, you ensure that your contributions are thoughtful, impactful, and aligned with your highest values, saving you from much regret and enhancing the grace with which you move through the world. 8. Defy external pressure. Keep your inner calm intact. The world is a symphony of demands, expectations, and judgments, constantly vying to penetrate your inner sanctuary. From societal norms and career pressures to social media trends and the opinions of peers, external forces exert a relentless pull on our sense of self and our decisions. To the Stoic, true freedom lies in the ability to defy these external pressures, to maintain your inner calm and adhere to your own principles regardless of the surrounding clamor. Your peace of mind is too precious to be outsourced to the whims of others or the vagaries of circumstance. Consider the immense pressure in modern society to conform, to pursue a certain career path, to accumulate specific possessions, to adopt particular beliefs, or even to present a curated version of yourself online. Succumbing to these pressures often leads to a life of quiet desperation, where actions are driven by external validation rather than internal conviction. This pursuit of external approval is a direct assault on your inner calm, leaving you constantly agitated by the fear of disapproval or the relentless chase for fleeting acceptance. Defying external pressure requires a deep understanding of the Stoic dichotomy of control, distinguishing what is within your power, your thoughts, judgments, actions, from what is outside your power, everything else, including others' opinions, external events, and outcomes. When you internalize this distinction, you realize that while people may try to pressure you, their ability to truly disturb your inner calm is entirely dependent on your consent. Practical application involves consciously detaching from the need for external validation. Ask yourself, am I doing this because I truly believe it's right, or because I'm afraid of what others will think? Cultivate a strong sense of self-worth that is rooted in your virtues, not in external achievements or approval. Practice saying no to things that violate your principles or drain your energy, even if it's unpopular. By consistently protecting your inner fortress from the constant siege of external expectations, you not only preserve your serenity, but also build a life of genuine authenticity, integrity, and profound peace, anchored in your unwavering self-possession. 9. Cultivate emotional discipline. Calm is survival. Emotional discipline is not the suppression of feelings, but their skillful management. It is the deep understanding that emotions, while natural and often powerful, should not be the masters of your fate. For the Stoic, reason is the rightful guide, illuminating the path and preventing emotions from derailing your journey. This cultivation is an ongoing practice, a daily commitment to observing your internal landscape without judgment, and then deliberately choosing your response. The ultimate goal is to embody the truth that calm is not just a desirable state, but a fundamental prerequisite for survival and flourishing in a complex world. In the crucible of modern life, the ability to remain calm under pressure is an invaluable asset. Imagine a high-stakes meeting where emotions flare, a critical decision hangs in the balance, or a personal crisis demands your immediate attention. In such moments, those who succumb to panic, anger, or despair lose their capacity for clear thought, innovative problem-solving, and effective communication. Their survival, in a metaphorical and sometimes literal sense, is compromised. Conversely, the individual who has cultivated emotional discipline can maintain perspective, think strategically, and act decisively, even when chaos reigns around them. Their calm is their compass, guiding them through the storm. To cultivate this discipline, begin with consistent self-awareness. Journal your emotional responses. When you feel a strong emotion arise, pause and identify it. Don't immediately label it as good or bad. Instead, ask, what is this emotion trying to tell me? Is its message useful, or is it a distortion of reality? Practice cognitive reframing, challenging negative or irrational thoughts that fuel unhelpful emotions. Engage in mindfulness exercises to observe emotions without getting entangled in them. Understand that every emotional impulse does not demand immediate action. You have the power to choose how you respond to your feelings. This continuous practice strengthens your rational faculty, allowing you to steer your actions with purpose and grace, rather than being tossed about by every emotional wave. By choosing calm, you choose clarity, resilience, and ultimately, a more effective and serene existence, proving that true strength lies not in the absence of feeling, but in its masterful command. 10. Stay true to your principles. Anchor yourself in purpose. The ultimate expression of Stoic living, the culmination of all these rules, is the unwavering commitment to stay true to your principles. This is your anchor, your guiding star, the unshakable foundation upon which you build a life of integrity, purpose, and inner peace. Without a clear set of values, what the Stoics called virtues, all the mastery of facial expressions, the embrace of silence, the outsmarting of impulses, the disarming of anger, and the defiance of external pressure, become mere techniques, lacking genuine meaning. Your principles are the why behind your actions, the compass that keeps you on course, even when the seas of life become turbulent. In the modern world, it's easy to drift. We are bombarded with conflicting ideologies, fleeting trends, and the seductive allure of convenience over conviction. Without a firmly established internal moral compass, we risk becoming chameleon-like, adapting our values to fit the situation, or worse, abandoning them entirely for short-term gains or external approval. This moral drift is corrosive to the soul, leading to internal conflict, regret, and a profound sense of rootlessness. To stay true to your principles is to define for yourself what truly matters: honesty, courage, justice, wisdom, compassion, and then to live in unwavering alignment with those definitions, regardless of how challenging or unpopular it may be. How do you anchor yourself in purpose? It begins with introspection, clearly articulating your core values. What do you truly stand for? What kind of person do you aspire to be? Write them down. Reflect on them regularly. Then, critically examine your actions and decisions against these principles. Are you living consistently with what you claim to believe? In moments of moral ambiguity or external pressure, let your principles be your ultimate guide. Before making a decision, ask, does this align with my commitment to justice, to honesty, to courage? This constant self-assessment and commitment to integrity is the bedrock of Stoic living. It generates an unshakable inner peace that comes from knowing you are living a life of purpose, a life that is authentically yours. By staying true to your principles, you not only elevate your own existence, but also become a beacon of consistency and strength for those around you, embodying the profound truth that real power emanates from an anchored soul. We've journeyed through 10 profound rules, each designed to fortify your inner world and empower you to act with a cold logic tempered by grace. From mastering your facial expressions to anchoring yourself in unshakable principles, the path of Stoicism is a constant invitation to cultivate an unassailable inner fortress, a sanctuary of calm that withstands every external storm. Remember the words of Epictetus: "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so that we can listen twice as much as we speak." This simple observation encapsulates much of what we've explored. The power of observation, the wisdom of silence, the discipline of measured response. True strength isn't found in reacting to every provocation, nor in succumbing to every impulse. It is found in the quiet resolve to control what is truly yours. We are judgments, your reactions, your character. It is the profound freedom that comes from recognizing that while the world may rage outside, your inner peace remains inviolate, a direct result of your conscious choices. This journey is not about eliminating emotions, but about refining your relationship with them. It's about becoming the master of your own mind rather than its slave. It's about transforming impulsive reactions into wise decisions, where patience becomes your shield and silence your most eloquent statement. So, I leave you with this provocation. In the face of life's relentless demands and provocations, will you choose to be a leaf tossed by the wind, Or will you choose to be the rooted oak, steadfast and serene, mastering the silence within? If these insights have resonated with you, if they've sparked a new way of thinking, please consider liking this video, sharing it, and subscribing to the channel to join our growing community dedicated to wisdom and inner strength. And let me know in the comments below, which of these Stoic rules do you find most challenging, and which one are you committed to practicing this week? Your reflections are invaluable.